Good morning, sophomores, to-be juniors. Today we're going to talk about registration for your courses next year as you guys cross over from being sophomores to juniors and take the next steps. We have some things we need to talk about. You have a variety of materials that were just handed to you by your teacher. One of them is the course catalog, your transcript through trimester 2 of this year, your course request worksheet, and some other items as well. We're going to mainly focus with these top three, but especially number 3 here, your course request worksheet. If you could pull that out and put that on kind of on the top of your pile, we're going to spend some time moving through subject areas in the exact order that they are on that sheet. So if you can pull out a pencil ideally or something to write with, go ahead and have that ready. And as we're moving through, I would encourage you to jot down notes on that course request worksheet. It should simplify the process for you. You can go home, talk with mom and dad about this. You will, as we'll talk about later, have the potential to watch this tutorial online again if you have questions or your folks do. But let's begin here shortly with those items laid out on our desk. The online course request process is now open, and your course request must be completed by the deadline. That is all over your paperwork. Take a look at that and get that done with a good plan. All right, where should you be at? After trimester 2 of this year, which we just completed a week and a half ago, you should have in the ballpark of 100 credits. By the end of this term, you should have around 120, which puts you right on pace to be halfway to your required number of credits for graduation. If this is not where you're at, especially if you are significantly off of this mark or these marks, these are some options that are going to be available to you in the next 2 years to try and catch up some of those credits. Online BYU, summer school, eventually adult education during your senior year. You want to put yourself in a position where you are limiting the number of this that you have to take. And you, of course, are going to work through your counseling department for your needs there. But if you are behind, find the best way you can possibly now to kind of stop that trend so that you don't make life more difficult on yourself moving forward. These are the Granada High School graduation requirements. You've seen these before. You got introduced to this last year in FIT. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but these are the different departments we're going to be making our way through and the number of units that is required for them. Again, our total is 240, and we're in good shape to graduate. All right, let's begin by talking about the International Baccalaureate Program, or IB, as I will most frequently refer to it. Your class 2018, will be eligible to participate in IB next year. IB diploma students, which we'll talk about some differences in what that means, but IB diploma students take 6 subject courses, plus these 3 here, TOK, Extended Essay, and the CAS project. IB is a very exciting thing for Granada to have beginning this next year. It's recognized worldwide as a high-level university prep program. Learners who are engaging in IB classes are going to do a lot of things, but these are huge, big buzzwords that are a part of the IB program and are vital to its success. Here are some of the courses that are going to be offered at Granada next year in the IB program. In the Language Acquisition Department, you see here, down to the sciences, the arts, math, individuals and society, and studies of language and literature. Okay, just to give you a quick example of that, there is this information and more in your course catalog. So let me just kind of clarify the 3 options you kind of have with regards to taking an IB course. Number 1, you could take and go the full diploma route. Okay, that's what we looked at 2 slides ago with the 6 courses and then those additional 3. See the catalog for the full details on that. You might choose not to go that route, but you want to take a few IB courses. Maybe you just take a couple over the next 2 years. You receive a certificate for each one that you complete, and maybe that's the extent for which you are involved in IB. Or maybe there's just one particular course that has got you interested, and you take just that one course. IB courses are taken during your junior and senior year, and there are 2 different types of IB courses. Standard level, which is typically going to be a little bit easier to access than, say, an AP course, and then HL, higher level, which is going to be much more comparable to an AP level course. Again, For more information on IB, see your catalog for options that exist in every department. Lastly, and we'll hit on this again a little bit later, one of the options you have is to choose in your registration process if you think you would like to attempt the IB diploma route. If that's something you think that you're interested in doing, go ahead and select that when you're asked that question on your registration. If not, just select no choices. All right, let's begin moving on to our subject areas. First, beginning with social science. If you look back at your course registration worksheet, you're going to see that the next several slides follow that thing right down to a T. So, with regards to next year as juniors, your decision for what social science to take is one of three. Number one, are you going to take U.S. history? That, of course, is an A and B course, 2 trimesters. An IB history of the Americas, or AP U.S. history. Those are your 3 options. Break it down for yourself. If history is a strong point or an interest of yours, consider one of the IB or AP courses. If not, U.S. history is your graduation requirement for next year. See the catalog for course descriptions. Also remember that AP U.S. history has a seminar that is highly recommended for trimester 3. With regards to English next year, English 11 A and B is of option, or again there is an IB component, or we have some options within AP Lit or AP Lang. If you're unsure which route to take, start with your catalog, take a look at the description. You can also talk with your teachers, in this case your English teachers, to find out where you might fit best next year. With regards to your English proficiency, if you are struggling with either reading or writing the English language, we're going to put supports in place to help improve that for you. There's going to be a variety of things that are going to go into whether or not you're an English workshop, but for those of you who need it and know you're going to need it, go ahead and sign up for that when you are registering. If you do not believe you're going to get it based upon your grades, then go ahead and choose no choices. Ultimately, though, final decisions on which students are in English workshop next year are going to be determined over the course of this spring and summer, and those who need it will be placed in it. All right, with regards to math, next year, to graduate, we need to ultimately get to 20 credits of math through Algebra 1. That's your requirement for graduating from high school. However, if you are potentially going to be college bound, which is the vast majority of us, then 3 years is absolutely required and 4 is recommended. We recommend here at Granada that you take math every year. No matter whether you're going the JC route or a 4-year route, whether you're going to be a math major or not, you're going to have to take math at the next level in some capacity. If you take time off from that and do not take math your junior and senior year, or even just your senior year, that's going to create a more difficult gap for you, because when you enter into either a JC or a 4-year school, you're going to have to take a placement test, and then they're going to place you in math courses. And those ones aren't free like they are here at Granada. So we recommend that you take math each year, plan on that accordingly, look at your course catalog, and talk with your math teacher if you're unsure about what step to take next year with regards to math. With regards to science, we've got 2 slides here, one of life science and the other of physical science. You see your life science options here. Most of you will pass through biology at some point in time, but there are also some upper level courses here to get additional life science credits. You'll see this on both slides down here. AP Environmental Science is something that is open for juniors and seniors, so that'd be you guys in the current junior class. This is an interdisciplinary science, so it can count as either a life science or as a physical science. You need 1 year of life science and 1 year of physical science to graduate. Here are your physical science options. Again, you see that AP Environmental Science down here can kind of cross over these two. Here are your physical science options. Again, take a look at your course catalog and see, often as you'll see here, what math you're in can have a strong determination as to what science course you go into next. World language. We're going to spend some time talking about world language, visual performing arts, and CTE over the course of the next few slides. First, let's begin with world languages. You see them listed here. With regards to what colleges are looking for, if you think you're college bound, you should plan on taking 2 years of foreign language and ensure that you're doing so in the same language. Okay, so if you've already begun Spanish, it'd be highly recommended to you to stick with Spanish and finish that out. However, you are at the time where if you think you're college bound and you've begun a language that you want to veer away from, now's the time to do it so that you can get next year, junior year, in level 1 of that foreign language course, and then senior year you can knock out level 2. So even if you're at the point where you're feeling like you want to change what foreign language you are acquiring, now's the time to do so for next year. Also part of your requirement for graduation is something out of visual and performing arts. This trifecta of foreign language, visual performing arts, and CTE, you must have 30 credits from those 3 departments, and they must be from at least 2 of those disciplines. Okay, so you can't just take 30 units of foreign language and be done with your requirement. You must take at least 10 in another area. You can do 10 in CTE, 10 in visual performing arts, and 10 back in world language. That's great. But as you will remember from the previous slide, if you did 10, 10, and 10, what would that not do for you? Well, it wouldn't make you eligible for college. So in some cases, you're going to exceed that requirement for graduation to meet college requirements as well. Here with visual performing arts, we could list dozens of courses. This is a huge part of your catalog. Take a look at them, everything from video productions to band and orchestra to our art classes, you name it. Tons of options here, and as you guys enter into your junior and senior year the following year, lots of opportunities for you to explore options in courses like visual and performing arts and see where your interests are, see where your skills are. With the same vein, CTE, or Career Technical Education, offers a lot of these same things as well. Again, college requirement is a year out of here, which also matches the minimum requirement that you need to graduate out of these categories. These are courses, again, huge part of your catalog, like robotics, machine tool, auto, web page design, video game design, and tons more. There are lots of interesting opportunities here, and ones that really may pave a way into a future major or career or whatever it may be. That all could be born out of you taking a class like one of these. So spend time in your catalog and take a look at the options you have there. All right, with regards to PE, many of you will have satisfied your graduation requirement for PE this year by taking 20 units of PE and passing the fitnessgram. For those of you who have not passed the fitnessgram after this spring, you will be placed into PE next year, 2 sections of it. One of those will be PE 2 with conditioning, and the other one is either aerobics, advanced sports activity, or human performance. It is required that until you pass the fitnessgram, you must continue to be enrolled in PE, which means 10 units per year, 10 credits per year. That will be of option for you next year if you've not passed the fitnessgram. Even if you have passed the fitnessgram, the Granada coaches strongly recommend that if you are playing a sport here at this school, that you are in human performance, period. I don't care if you're a female athlete, a male athlete, a football player, or a volleyball player, or anything in between. This class is for you. It's speed, explosion, and strength. That is beneficial to all, both male and female, regardless of sport. We recommend that you're at least in the class, at minimum, the trimester before your sport. You're a winter sport athlete, you should be in it at least in the fall. Spring sport athlete, you're in it in the winter, so on and so forth. Okay? Huge opportunity for us here to continue to build as young athletes and, in general, our athletic program. Getting in the weight room and getting stronger. Let's talk about electives in general. Electives in this category of 80 units that you need to acquire in the elective category isn't just necessarily what you would traditionally categorized as electives. Any academic class over and above the graduation requirement can be used as elective credit. So, what's our graduation requirement for math? 20 units, right? So, if you take math next year, and that's your 3rd year of math and your 25th and 30th credits of math, then those 10 roll above and beyond your math requirement for graduation, and they roll into your elective category. Long story short, for students who are staying on top of things, filling up your elective category is no problem. Also, within the, quote, elective category, use the next 2 years to really explore new areas. Like I talked about a few slides ago, start thinking about what your interests are, what your skills are, and then see if there's a course here that has some of those commonalities. And then that might help launch you into some ideas about, wow, maybe something you never thought about before is a potential career path, or something you want to study, or something you want to go to an institute for. to a design school for, you name it. There are electives in every aspect of the school, whether it be social science or English or consumers family studies, you name it. Take a look, spend time in your catalog. It's big and there's a lot in there, but take time, go through and see what things are of interest for you. One of those may be another opportunity to pick up elective credit and get some practical application in the process, and that's through ROP. It's not that ROP courses are not academically focused, it's just that their primary focus is on this word right here, occupational. Okay, it means practically out there doing that job, that field work, that type of industry work, and getting a great sense of that while you're still in high school. I've listed just a few of them here. Some of them here at Granada. Many of them are in other high school locations around the Tri-Valley. There's a bevy of these listings in your course catalog in the ROP section. Take a look at that. Couple things to note. Beginning on page 20, you are responsible for transportation if you are going to one of the many off-sites. I've only listed a few here, but there are several of the ROP courses that are off-site. Sometimes that can be a hindrance to you. They're also often very time-consuming. Now, neither of these I'm sharing with you as detractions or suggesting that you don't look into ROP courses. I'm just saying be aware that they are a time commitment and they sometimes can involve transportation. So consider that and look into those. If you have questions, come see Miss Mintz in the library and she can answer questions about every single one of the ROP courses for you to a T. This part on your course request worksheet is where we come back to this IB Diploma Program question. And again, what you're answering here is one of two things. Either yes, I think I might be interested in the IB Diploma Program, or no, I don't think I am. Not that you're not interested in ever taking a course, but remember the difference we talked about before. Diploma Program within IB or just taking an IB course. You can still sign up for just single IB courses, but this is whether you think you're interested in taking those 6 courses plus the other 3 over the course of the next 2 years to get your IB diploma in addition to your Granada graduation diploma. All right, regarding IWE, tutor, TA for next year, you will be able to sign up for these 4 right here, okay? But you will not be able to sign up for TA as an elective. You will only be able to choose TA as an alternate, okay? So if you're interested in being support, helping out in a special ed classroom, whatever it may be, being a high school tutor, you can sign up for those. Being a TA, that's only an alternate and will be really a last resort for you next year as a junior. Just some things to flash your way. Not that I would expect you to gather all this information on this page, but this is some key information coming from your counseling department about what's coming up ahead. College, or students who are college bound, there's a lot of planning that's going to go into the next, especially the next 18 months to 20 months of your life. But a lot of stuff needs to get knocked out and planned for next year as juniors. Everything from the PSAT to the SAT, the ACT, you name it. Stay kind of aware and alert that if you're planning on going somewhere in 2 years, that you're paying attention to the announcements and the things that are coming out of the counseling center, because they're going to help you and your parents and your family know exactly what to do every step of the way. All right, let's talk a little bit specifically about requesting courses. What do you need? Your course catalog, most of these items that are right there in front of you, your 4-year plan or your course request worksheet, obviously your student ID number, some internet access, and 15 to 20 minutes. Remember that everything has to be done in one sitting. It's going to go ahead and take a few brief moments to brush up on this online registration process. All right, Granada, this is a brief tutorial about the online course selection process that begins today. I want to walk you through these steps. It's the same as it has been in years past. So I just want to bring a couple things to your attention and we'll be moving on. First, beginning here at the home page of Granada, I want to bring your attention to the Resources tab up top and the very first icon, the Course Request and Registration. That brings you here to this page. It has a lot of information and a lot of materials, most of which you have right there in front of you and were pointed out before. Also, the tutorial that you're watching is listed here, specific to each one of your grade levels. If you need a reminder or you want to sit down with your parents or something of that nature. You also can log into PowerSchool directly from here. Your PowerSchool login is the same as it is currently. Nothing has been changed there. That should be your user ID and then the password that you currently use. Once we log in, it brings us to our home page. We're going to be dealing with the tab over here on the left-hand side called Class Registration. When we click on that, it often takes a moment to load. And this should look familiar. Again, this follows the same format as your course registration worksheet, which you have in front of you, starting with social science, English, English proficiency, math, and so on. Now, next year's, since you guys are freshmen, sophomores, juniors, next year's sophomores, juniors, seniors, there's some slight differences, but again, for the purpose of this, since we've been through this before, I'm just going to briefly remind you of some basic things here, and then you'll know how to do it specifically. To select your courses in a given category, you select on the pencil over here to the right, and again, what I would encourage you to do is from the get-go, hit the number button. That will organize your classes by numerical number. For each one of these windows, you have some information up at the top that will help explain what you're looking at, and they also have what you need to what you're required to do in order to satisfy this particular area. You'll notice that once I've done what I'm supposed to do, or what I have to do, which is in this case select U.S. history options, my red exclamation point turns into a green check mark, and I'm okay to move on. You'll see that the same thing happens out here, and I have my two courses selected there for U.S. history. I'm going to continue this process all the way through selecting electives, selecting alternates, so on and so forth. What's very important is I get down here to the bottom, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to count how many courses that I have selected to take, not including my alternates, but courses that I'm selected to take, and I'm going to select that number there. Again, your key is that throughout this process you are looking to satisfy each one of your requirements and turn that into a green check mark. That will finally turn into a green check mark at the very bottom, and you'll hit submit. A reminder, this has to be done in one sitting. You can go back anytime over the next approximately month until April 11th when this closes. You can go back in anytime and make changes to this, but you can't do this process partially. In other words, you can't just do the first 4 or 5 areas and then stop after you're done with science. You have to satisfy and get green check marks all the way down and do it in one sitting, otherwise it will not save your selections. Please be sure to visit the resources page, as was pointed out in the video there, on the Granada website to watch tutorials like this one, along with having all the resources that are right in front of you. Those are all available on the Granada High main page under the tab of Resources. If you still need help choosing classes, first, again, always begin with the materials we're giving you. There's a lot of information in there. Start there and start by discussing those things with your folks. If from there you're feeling questions are still unanswered, your counselors will be meeting with you individually, very briefly, throughout your third period classes over the course of the next 2.5 months. Any adjustments to course choices or decisions maybe that change between now and then, you can make those changes with your counselor during those third period meetings. But from there, your decisions are going to be kind of set for next year. When you're sitting down to do this, spend time doing this. This is your life. This is your education. This is your interest in many cases. Sure. Are there requirements that you have very little choice to take next year? Yes. You're taking history. You're taking English. You're taking... Yes. But within that, you have options. And then outside of that, you have a whole bunch of options. So spend time looking through the catalog and getting familiar with what's available to you. Make sure you are following your plans and goals you have set out for yourself. Where do you want to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be going? What do you want to be doing? And then make sure you're taking the steps now to get there appropriately. When you're selecting your courses, please make sure you have at least 12 5-unit courses selected, and obviously no more than 15. Also, a big thing for you guys the next 2 years is the courses you choose as alternates. Everyone thinks, or seems to think, that this is just like, whatever, I'll just check 5 things. No. If for some reason in the process of scheduling all 2,200 students at Granada with all 15 course potential options, there becomes a bind and you can't get into that one course you said you wanted to get into, we're going to turn to your alternates first and turn that on and get you into that course. So choose them with purpose. Choose them with intention, so that if that happens to be the course you get over, per se, another elective, you're fine with it. Okay, a couple things to note. We'll be done here. These requests are your requests. Okay, we build the entire school's master schedule based upon what you are going to do in the next week and a half, requesting your courses for next year. Okay, the alternates may be filled in as we just talked about on the last slide, so make those choices accordingly. And then also please remember that both parts of an A-B course must be completed in a single school year. They are not separate courses, they're 2 halves of one course, so you may not drop portion B of a course. Last but not least, Your last reminder, select your courses carefully. The schedule you get in August will be according to what you select now, so therefore, and outside of an effort on or an error on our part, schedule changes will not be needed or allowed come August. So, again, all the more reason to put importance behind what you're going to select. You can follow information on all things Granada on different forms of social media, and of course, our website as well. Sophomores, next year's juniors, thank you for your attention. Take care.